Why? When God is your foundation, you're not built to break. So here I am saying, hello, welcome, chosen ones. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kishana, and you are here because this topic resonates with you. The topic of today's particular live is I've never been this stuck. The topic of today's live is being at rock bottom. What happens in this place? This video is not by coincidence, and I'm sitting down to do a YouTube live after years of trying and not being able to get back to doing my usual work. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to stay on my notes. I'm sitting down after years of trying to come back and restart this particular YouTube channel, struggling for months to get back on track with who I am and my purpose, and couldn't come back around to being myself. What did I just say? I couldn't come back around to being myself. You may see me operating, see me showing up on social media, but that's just like by habit. You know, we share whatever we're pictures and so forth, but there's the aspect of me that used to be the coach, the mentor, the author, the teacher, and that girl, the motivator, the inspiring one. I couldn't get back to being at that place. And I know there are times when God shifts you to different assignments, but I also recognize that there was something wrong. And so tonight, while you're seeing me here, I'm not back to myself. I am new. I am new. All right. This is a new space for me. I needed to come back as a better, upgraded version of myself, the version that would not be so terribly devastatingly phased by my past test. Guys, I've been through a storm. Oh my God. And this might really be emotional because I was hit in places of my emotion that I didn't even know existed. There were places in me in this past test that I didn't even have explored those aspects to myself. It was just new and something uncharted as a territory. I'm not fully out of it. Let me just say that I'm not fully out of it, but I am better, and I have been released to come and share this light in the tunnel and this break in the process. I am here, and that's good, right? And the best part about it is that you are here too, and you're actually listening to me as I share this story, because I thought about it many times. I didn't even think or know if I could get back to this place. I felt like if I felt like, okay, maybe this is it for me. I've done most of what I've done what I should have done already in my life, and maybe this is it. I had hope, but some of the other things like health issues, it made me got fearful that this might very well be a moment that could just be it, you know. And I was like, God, I'm hoping you were pleased with me. I'm hoping that I did enough. I'm hoping that, you know, I can still do whatever little I can, even though I am ailing and feeling and going through. I am still going to give it my last shot. But I remember wanting so much to get my strength back, my health back, my energy back, my inspiration, because I even lost some that motivation, that self-motivation that I normally have. I went back to that place for it, and it just wasn't there. It was crazy what was going on. Hi Dominic, thank you for coming in. Just to preface my background, I'm an author and a teacher. By background, I'm a believer of Jesus Christ. I'm a Caribbean gal, Jamaican Caribbean gal. So that will explain my voice and my tone in my videos. If you choose to stick around and to subscribe to this channel, you won't have to ask any questions, because I'm telling you up front, my trainer is the Holy Spirit. So I am highly spiritual and I speak Bible. All right, so no need for any more questions. Now I'm giving it all out there to you. So, you know, for the past decade, guys, let me try and get back to my story. For the past decade plus, I'm still waiting on a promise from God. And I can't say what that is. but it's resulting in an already strained life for me. So that's there in the canvas for me and my family. And I know Abraham had to wait 25 years on God's promise. So me just coming in at a decade, maybe I'm just like about halfway there. And some of you are probably waiting a very long time too to see if God is going to do something that you're believing Him for. And you know the tests that will definitely come during that period of time. One of the biggest tests that Abraham had was to take his own son. But not only that he got the promise and go slay the son, he was also tested by his wife. Let's try and help God along with the promise. So you know when you're waiting on God that the strain of that is going to result in you living a very challenging life already. So last year we started a ministry, and I also turned 41. And that's important because why this is important, every 40 years in the Bible, every 40 years God does a change and a major transition happens in the life of His people, Israel. You check the Bible, and after 40 years, the kings reigned 40 years. The prophets, they ruled. The judges, they did their work in 40-year period. And God makes a transition and sends a new prophet, raises up someone new. But it's a life-altering thing that's going to happen in the life of God's people, including us. So 40 years old is a landmark stage in your year in your life when you can expect some changes. So right after my 40th birthday, the call of God was always there, but here was a push and an indication, a definite word. Like when you get a vision from the Lord with the word START, it doesn't get clearer than that what you need to do. And I've always prided myself in loving to hear direction and hear from God, is because that's a part of my gift, to know what's coming next, to know what's happening in the future, to know where I'm going and what I need to do. Guys, why was now different? I'm gonna tell you what happened. So we started this ministry, and I turned 40, and I know the tests were coming, right? Because when you start something new that God says start, tests will come. But you don't know what to expect. See, that's the thing. So you know that the tests are coming, you do not know what to expect, and as believers, we normally pray to God and we seek Him diligently. We also acquire counseling. But nothing could literally prepare me for the biggest storm and warfare of our lives. If someone wanted to, this is a question I'm going to ask you right now. If someone wanted to cripple you or to put a blow to your dreams, all right, what's the fastest way that they can stop you from having momentum if you have a push to grow and to go? What parts of your body would the devil or would that person go for if someone is trying to stop you and hinder you from progressing? Put it in the chat. What part of your body would they attack first? Let me see what you would say. Somebody would say, okay, your eyes. Someone would probably say, oh, your feet. Someone would say your hands, right, etc. So stay with me with feet, because the feet are what we use to walk. Hey sis, let's see, yeah, he's gonna come up to your mind, because yeah, if your mind is not working, then chances are the rest of your body parts aren't working either. Your brain works with your mind. So these are already, you're helping me to see what we can expect when we're going through storms. We can expect our minds to go completely contrary to everything that we stand for and everything that God stands for, because He's after the mind. All right, stay with me for feet, because you're going somewhere. He's got to try and find a way to cripple you. So to give you a blow to your dreams, and the fastest way, He's gonna go after, economically, he's gonna attack your money, right? Because that's one way of stopping you from doing everything. Everything needs money. If you're trying to live, you're gonna be homeless if you don't have money. You can't eat if you don't have money. This world system is set up whereby we need money. And then he's gonna go after your health. And wealth and health, that's what builds a man. That's where the joy of life comes from. Guys, well, listen, I have never been this broke in my life, and nothing worked. Okay, getting a job, well, guess what? The job is not available a few days after getting the job. Getting the job, okay, some kind of circumstance happens and you're not able to keep the job, or you're not getting the hours, or you're not getting the time. So it's not even about, okay, you can't get a job, you can get a job, but what happens when you get the job and the job won't work? What happens when you cannot get money from a job? Okay, you start thinking to be resourceful. You start thinking, okay, well, I'm an entrepreneur, and I realized that employment was not it for me because of these same issues. I'm talking to chosen ones tonight who can understand and relate to the fact that there are very few things that are going to work according to what the world offers us as a solution to our lives, and the fact that it's what God determines for us that will work, because we have a job and an assignment to do, and we're going to have to do it, and the lessons we learn are all a part of it. Again, as my shirt says tonight, she wasn't built to break. And why? Because God is her foundation. Guys, if breaking was something that you could do, you would have broken. And this is my message and my mantra, because obviously I am built by something else. Obviously, there is another foundation. Obviously, there is something else that makes you get to a point where you should break and you can't break. It needs to turn? Wow. But that means I'm going to have to change the orientation altogether. Okay, so thanks to my husband who is coming to tell me that the whole thing is messed up in terms of the view. Right? Can you? Is now, or if we can turn that and then put it in. Thank you for watching. Just bear with us a moment, guys. We're trying to position this thing. And then now it makes sense, because now you can see everything, including the shirt and all. I tell you, I am so rusty at even all of this. And I'm just so happy that I'm able to do it. You can't turn. All right, let me, wait. This part right here. Are you gonna change that? All right, let me just put this right here and continue for in the interest. You can see me, right? I think you can see me, because I really don't have time for that that tripod and what it was doing right there now. Where was I? Okay. So now you have your business, and all of what you're realizing happening in the business is failing miserably, and you're trying everything. All right, I've gone from things I've never tried before, because I'm taking my marketing to the next level, and I have a business coach that I'm paying my business coach, and I'm paying building a website, and I'm paying marketing tools online, and I'm building all these things and paying all these monthly expenses to keep the business running. You're talking about a business phone line. You're talking about, I mean, I know how to do these things. I coach people on how to set up their businesses and to get them running the right way. I know how to get business credit, but I was just at the point of getting the business credit. I had some, and now you have credit. You have credit for your business to operate. You have your business bills that you need to pay, and you're making investments. I remember sending out a whole batch of mail. You know those cards you get in the mail drops, and that was an expensive venture. All right, and from that whole campaign of sending out thousands of cards, there was not one phone call that ever came where someone said, I got your card in the mail. After spending all of that money, after all of the websites, after everything, there wasn't a sale to the website and you're wondering, okay, this is going to catch on. Just do some more marketing. And you're like, okay, but you're looking at the funds and you're like, well, it's going down and you are doing what you're supposed to do. And so now, come knocking, you realizing that if there's no income coming in for the business, then it's not a business. And you're realizing that if you are not able to pay the bills, the business is going to fail. And so that's exactly what had to happen. So now we do not have any kind of income to continue to sustain. So we have to close the businesses down. Nothing would work. Prayers are going up. We're still praying, we're still believing God, we're still putting out efforts. Great consultations, great meetings, just great everything on your end, and then when you check it out, there's nothing happening. What do you do as an entrepreneur? Broke entrepreneurs, put in the comment down here, been there. Broke entrepreneurs, put it here. When this is how you have to survive, you have a gift. By the way, this is one of my products for my home decor business. You have a gift. People are seeing the products. People aren't buying from you. You wonder, okay, what happened? I have a store on Etsy, not making sales there too. People would come here and I'll do like individual, like personal sales. Certainly not enough because you can't get the volume that you need when it comes on. So what you actually need to do is to get like massive funding to put like products on like a platform like Amazon, and it can work. I'm not here to tell you that it cannot work. I'm just sharing with you my experience over the past 6 months and why this didn't make sense to me. I got angry and really upset, frustrated, and went to the place that I was. All right, then the health issues started. So now you know, if your life is stressful, you're going to start having things like stomach digestion issues, anxiety issues, and all kinds of things are going to come calling. All right, so there are check-ins with your doctor. All right, now you don't have your insurance because you can't even handle that. So you don't have your insurance. The health bills are going up. Emergency room is going up. All these tests. And then what is this happening to my body? Oh, we don't know. Then I remember having to, as you saw my picture earlier today with this, I don't know, because it's not a virus, it's not a fungus. It is something that's happening internally underneath my skin. It started with just one little spot, didn't hurt, didn't know what it is. And then gradually it just started to spread and spread. So when I decided, okay, come money, enough insurance, whatever, somebody's gonna help me to figure this out. Your health must come first before anything else. And then here comes a diagnosis with a strange name that people don't even understand the name of it. It's an unknown cause, it's an unknown way of treating, and just unknown things. Now you go angry because you're like, okay, God, well, this is just an attack of the devil. And you already know that this is a spiritual attack. And now I'm starting to feel like, okay, so I am Job-isha. Because I remember Job having lost all of his wealth, all of his businesses. Thank God I had my family. Thank God I have my family. Thank God I have my family and I still have a roof over my head. Which, to keep the roof over my head was such a stress. Like miracle, after I was anticipating and literally praying and waiting for miracles to happen. Imagine that, what that does physically. Spiritually, you feel like, okay, my faith is working because here comes a miracle. But imagine what that is doing to your body physically. So all I can remember is that the doctor is saying everything is, these issues are stress related. And I'm like, but God, surely you're not going to let stress and the weight of all of this that I'm trying to go through, the test, this can't cause me to get sick. This can't take me out. So when it looks as if it's attacking my heart, when it looks as if, I remember in the emergency room, they were making a noise about something they saw on my CAT scan that looked like a stroke. Now they have me on stroke alert. Now they're keeping me overnight. And it just kept going on. And I just kept on smiling because in the midst of it, guys, what are you doing in the midst of your struggle and your warfare? You're trying to talk to God and why, tell me why it's seemingly like God goes silent when it is we're going through the roughest points in our lives and we need him the most. You really want to share this. you really want to share this. So we literally went to a place of rock bottom while still preaching and trying to operate in the realm of the spirit on a very high level. You're not able to do that unless the Holy Spirit takes over a whole part of you. But then the you in the midst of it, you're wondering, how am I coping though? Is this a natural state of being that you can show up and perform and lay hands on the sick and signs were there and people are being delivered? And I'm going to tell you some of the things I learned as a result of this about even our gifts. Are these gifts for us? Or are these gifts just for the other people? Because you're laying hands on yourself and you're doing all of this and you're wondering, well, it must not be working here. I remember the Apostle Paul. He never described what his thorn in the flesh was, but it was something. The Apostle Paul. And we need the Bible to reference to help us here, because without a compass, we cannot understand what we are going through. And this is why we also need to share our story so someone can quote us and our lives. I'm moving on. So now what happens, you're put in a place of isolation and nothing you're trying is working. And you're ashamed to talk to some people. You're ashamed to show up and to be saying something because you feel now like you're a phony. So I don't want to show up. I don't want to come and say anything. I don't want, because, well, I'm not making this work. So what am I going to counsel you and coach you about? How does the destiny coach not understand how to figure out her destiny? How does the transformational coach not be able to bring transformation to her own life? Showing face but suffering inside, sleepless nights. And so now all the relationships in your life are on rocks because everything is being affected. Just imagine that picture for a while. Talk about rock bottom. Have you ever been in a rock bottom situation? I'm not the only one. I'm not exempt. And maybe you're saying, oh girl, you want to hear my story. That ain't nothing compared to what I'm going through. But what you go through, you know how that feels. I hit that place called rock bottom so hard. And then I found out when I was crying because I had to literally I didn't want to see anything about House of Destiny Designs. I was like this, I lost everything. Imagine your savings and your investments for your family that you've used, and you're feeling embarrassed and ashamed, and you're wondering, how am I going to recover from this? Then I found out how really uncomfortable it is at rock bottom to get up, because you can't stand on rocks. You can't stand on rocks because they're going to hurt your feet. So most times when people are in rock bottom, they tend to dwell there for a little while. It's like the crabs in the barrel trying to climb up, but every time you come up, you feel like you're just like, it's like slipping back down. You can't stand because you're on rocks. So that's one thing I found out about rock bottom. The rocks are piercing your feet, so each time you try to stand, you're just gonna fall again. Stuck, like just so stuck. I knew things that I should do, and I know of things that I could do. And I would talk to people and they would say, hey, you know what, you should do that. But what they don't know is that I tried it. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. What you're saying is going to cost such and such because I can do the math and I don't have it. And I'm just not, it got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm just tired and I just can't do anything. It's like the brain wouldn't even function the way it normally would function. I don't know the address to that location of that place that I was in. I didn't know what it was. I can't send nobody to come and get me. Thank God one of my friends, my bestie, shout out to her, she realized right around the time of my birthday, she and I kind of got to talking and I was breaking down, and she was like, hey, wait, what? She didn't know I was going through now. She was like, wait a minute. She sent me a ticket, took me away for a few days, and I was in that place again, just praying and seeking God, and the Lord reveals some things to me. Because sometimes when you're in it, in the present, in your home, you can't really see. But now I even understand the warfare a little bit better when I stood outside and looked at it, and I saw even demonic names and spirits that were in the midst of that picture. So guys, now this is a spiritual attack. It's everything. What do you do in this place? I'm getting there, because we have to get through these things. Because listen, there's no way I went through what I went through. And like I said, I'm still not fully out, but I'm released to this moment where I can actually talk. The fact that I'm doing this is a power move. All right. Something literally happened to push me to this point where I can actually do this. And God chose the platform YouTube for me to do it. YouTube, where everybody is being monetized. Well, people who care to get to the point of promoting what they're doing and doing a very good job. It's not easy. To some it is easy, to some it's very hard. But this is also a platform that can give you residual income. Well, I've had YouTube channel for like, what, 13, 14 years. What have I done with it? And I just started kicking myself like, Kish, sometimes the easier ways were probably the better ways. And I'm thinking, okay, God, I don't know. I can't focus on even YouTube. I can't, And in that place, guys, I'm telling you, rock bottom. My usual source of strength and wisdom seemingly wanted me there, because somehow I felt like God was keeping me there, because he wasn't pulling me out. What a state to be in. Your prayers, your fasting. Yes, God is still talking to you, but it's not the answer to the thing that you really want at the time. And you know what I'm talking about. I found anger in that place, because see, now the devil lives in rock bottom. That's the devil's place. So you're going to pick up little things like anger, the anger and the frustration of being there. And then there was just this moment of silence where I just wasn't talking. It takes a lot for me to not have anything to say and to talk about and to explain. And I was in a silent place, because I'm like, okay, what am I going to even say? So I found out, okay, maybe in this silence, and at that point in that silence, I was like, what is happening to you? Are you losing it? Are you losing your mind? You don't want to talk? Sometimes I find myself like talking to my inner self, talking to my pictures, and I'm like, okay, are you losing your mind? Or is this a part of the process? This place humbled me in a way, and I always felt like I was a humble person, but there's always pride with us. So I was taking it, trying to lean into it, because I kicked against it. I rebuked it. I cursed. I did all of what, the tongues, everything that was with the scriptures. I wasn't leaving that place. And to all of you who like to say, a lot of preachers and teachers, they all like to tell people about warfare. You got to bind it, and you got to curse it, and you got to rebuke it out of your life. Well, I've come to find out that you're wrong, because when you are put in a warfare, you're put there by God. And even if the enemy engages you into war, the battle is for God to fight for you. There is nothing you do. There's no action more than to continue, remain in steadfast, and have faith in God, because you're not going to get out of a test that you were put into by God. You're just not going to be able to rebuke it. It's not going anywhere. You're going to have to go through that process, baby. I was humbled. Now I have no pride left. So, but you don't want to embarrass yourself. So you keep quiet. And when you needed to ask for help, you ask for help. Sometimes my husband wasn't happy in my presence, because even the way I would speak is just like, it's kind of toxic. There were murmurings and complaints, and I'm always just rambling about, okay, we need, and it becomes uncomfortable, especially when both of you are going through. So your relationships are even affected in this place. But we're making it, we overcome all of that still together, still when we would kneel and pray, still because that's the only thing we can do. It's just God. I was sad and I pitied myself. I was kicking myself and I had just to constantly be repenting. It was a very confusing place because you know better, but you're not doing better. You're just trying to cope in whatever way you can. And my biggest fear when I was in that stuck place was like, okay, if you lose yourself and if you die here, you fail the test. So somehow you have to find a way to survive. And so I was trying to find ways to make myself feel better with the sickness and when the vertigo, and I'm like walking, I know that I'm not doing okay physically in my health. There are so many things going wrong and I'm praying for healing while also trying to help God in the process. What a state of confusion. That's something you're going to find when you're in rock bottom. But I didn't know how to pass the test because when I thought I had an angle, guess what? 3 to 10 issues just start tumbling down again. I couldn't catch a break. This is the place that I'm trying to describe to you. I'm not here complaining because I'm good right now. I am just trying to explain to you this storm that I was in. And the fact that I'm saying was in, it means, guys, that there is hope, there is faith, and it means that I've overcome. And I'm at the end of this. I learned some things that I want to share with you tonight because, see, Jesus also hangs out in rock bottom. All right? He's accessible to you. As high as he is and as holy as he is for that place. This is the place he went to snatch the keys from Satan. He was met there by a woman who had her bleeding issues. You see me looking over there, it's because I'm trying to stay on my nose. She had a bleeding issue. Jesus was met by the man at Bethesda who said he had no one to help him. Rock bottom. The centurion whose child was dying. The woman with the alabaster box of ointment, which is all that she had. Jesus knows about these rock bottom places that we go. This is where we're going to find our Jesus. He hangs out there at rock bottom. You can recall that conversation that God had with Job. Hey, Satan, where will you come? God had with Satan about Job. Where you coming from? And Satan was like, just up in the earth doing what I gotta do, because he's a God of the world, the God of the earth, Prince of the earth, doing his thing, bringing evil, tormenting people's lives. I rebuke you tonight, Satan, in the name of Jesus. Leave God's people alone. And he's a tormentor. He's our adversary. And so this is a conversation. God said, have you considered my servant Job? I wonder if this conversation went down about me. I say, I'm wondering, was there a conversation about Kish? Was there a moment when God just felt fit, like this is the time where I'm going to say, listen, Kish doesn't serve me for nothing. Hallelujah. She don't serve me for nothing. Just as God wanted to challenge Satan, he said, no, you think Job isn't serving you for something? Because see, we love to get benefits and blessings from God, but we don't like to wait on God. What is wrong with us? We don't like to wait. We don't want to wait for it. We're just spoiled children, right? Sometimes with our kids, they don't want to wait for the thing. They want it and they want it now. You have to test your kids to make sure that they're equipped and ready for this world. You have to make sure your children have the right social skills so they do not walk around with this kind of mentality of, and that word just slipped me, entitlement. That I must have what I want because I am your child and you love me. Am I trying to make this analogy with you where we are with our Father, with God? We want these things. But we've seen in the Bible that Jesus goes to the place called rock bottom. That woman who was at that well, rock bottom. And he can tell you everything about that place, and he can tell you about everything, and he can assess you. How are you failing? Because I didn't feel like I was handling myself very well in that place. I did my best, and probably you would say, hey, I thought you did great. But there were times I was just not. And I didn't want to be in that place and not prove that I deserved whatever the benefit was going to be. Or I wanted God to be proud of me, man. I wanted God to be proud of me like he was proud of Job. So I entitled myself Jobisha. Okay, God, now, just as Job, the last thing that happened to Job was his skin. Here comes these fear plague things on my skin. That's because that's what I'm calling them. Right, these spots as a result of arteries and inflammation in arteries and leaky arteries. Right, so still very hard to understand and to explain, but I'm treating it. And guess what, now the medication, I'm realizing that the doctors give me, they aren't even working. So you have to rely on healing even when you do not see the immediate healing. And you're wondering, okay, God, is something wrong with my faith? There's nothing wrong with the word, and that surely you are a healer, but why am I not being healed? We don't want to talk about these issues a lot in church and when we're preaching and teaching, but we all are at these places. We're all going through these things where we're wondering if the things that we're preaching and the things that we're doing, are they working, and what makes it work? So I remember even Paul, what he was doing was crazy, persecuting the church. And then when he met Jesus, and the Lord said to him, it's me that you're persecuting. He had his transformation, and he went on to being, giving us the books, giving us the epistles, giving us the law, the way we're supposed to conduct ourselves. And he said something. He said, this light affliction cannot be compared with the greater weight of glory. So even though you're afflicted in such a hard manner, I had to keep saying, this is the worst storm I've ever seen. I didn't know that when you take up ministry, to lead ministry, and when you're anointed to do it, you're going to be tested as if you anointed, you called for this, were you really chosen for this, really? That test is going to come. That question is going to come in your face. And the magnitude of this storm that you're going through and this affliction that you're going through is what actually indicates to you that in fact it's the enemy trying to lie to you. Because if it was not so that you're anointed and chosen for this, you wouldn't be going through that test. Think about it. Who annoys someone that has no value and great value? I'm talking to chosen ones tonight. And if you're going to be a part of this channel, this is going to be just for the chosen. Because that's my life. And you have to know if you are chosen. And these are the kinds of stories and the kinds of rhetoric that comes from the chosen ones. This is how we have to go through this. We can't escape anything. We can't go around the issues. We have to deal with the issues because God is putting us in the position where we get real with ourselves, real with him, and real with the people that we are talking to, the people that we're sent to. They need to see vulnerability. They need to see truth in the inward parts, because God is truth and he's working out himself through us, and people are in fact learning who God is through us. So if we hide the things and never shared it, if we never tell anybody anything, then what are they going to use today to quote? We can talk about David forever. We can talk about all of these greats in the Bible forever, but who will quote you? How will your life strengthen someone else? What would be the meaning for your life? What would be the reason? What would be the point of it? All right. So here's my story. I forgot about my dreams because I'm just going to have to see what God really wants me to do, because I think that I knew what I was supposed to be doing, and I'm trying it the normal minimal way with the little bit that I have, and I thought it should be catching on, but it's not really catching on and helping me and benefiting me, and time is running out, and then here comes all of the problems, right? But in the midst of it, like I said, I was seeing miracles. I was seeing miracles. I'm like, okay, God, what just happened there? I don't know, but thank you. I was seeing some of the miracles. And here's the thing, we like to give God our timeline, our 30-day timeline, as if God works with our timeline. What do we do with our time frame on things? Every 30-day cycle, God is the one who sits outside of time and holds the time. Now we cannot tell God anything about the time in our lives. Like I said, I turned 40 and it's like all hell started breaking loose. No one told me that 40 was going to do all of these things. So now the doctors are telling me, oh, we have to change your to progressive vision for you. You need some reading help. Oh, that's happening to your knees. Oh, that's happening to your ear. Oh, I mean, everything that I'm hearing from the doctors is because I turned 40. I'm like, the last time I heard it, I just laughed. I was like, really? Is this what you're telling people? Like, is this a real thing? The premenopausal things, the everything, it's real. So y'all come into 40, just and come on up here slowly. All right? But again, guys, the thing about it, I hoped that while I was there in that place, that the stress would not take me out. And God forbid that that would happen. As a matter of fact, I decree that that cannot happen, because purpose cannot die until purpose has accomplished what it was sent to accomplish. So I have faith and I have the works. The problem is I wasn't really seeing the results. But sometimes we measure results and value by what we see immediately and do not understand that we've got to wait for it. I want you to put in this chat, just wait for it. It will all make sense. Just wait for it. Even though this one seems like this is the end for you and this is the worst thing ever, you really have to wait on God for this, because if he called you to this and if he chose you to this, like I said, I have a window of opportunity that there was nothing that could stop me tonight from doing this. This is what I'm talking about. He will preserve you to do what you need to do. This is gonna fix some things. It's gonna heal. I'm coming back for the healing. This has been prophesied over to me, that the healing of so many people are within me, that the destiny for many people are within me, to get them to that point, that I'm their destiny helper, that I'm going to be the one to open my mouth to release them into their destiny. All these things have been said over me beautifully. But yes, I believe. And those are some of the words of prophecy that kept me through at nights when I felt like, okay, I'm gonna have to go up to the ER, because I'm sure that my heart is not pumping, something is not right, the blood is in circulation, my legs are cramping, I'm having tingling from my arm all the way down. Just so many things, and I just get up and just pray and just sing through the night, because I can't even sleep. Listen, the price you pay to do the work, oh God, help me. Somebody say, help Kiss Jesus. So I learned a couple of things, and this is the end. I learned in this place who holds the timeline. I learned who has the final say. I learned that you cannot rebuke your test. I learned patience and stillness. I learned that my gift was not for me. See, your gift can help me, but your gift may not be able to help you. It is heavy, right? Your gift may not be able to help you, but you better stretch your hand and release your gift upon me. Because the last time I read my Bible, the Bible said that the gifts of God are for the edification of the body of Christ. So your gift, you don't have a gift, that you can't give a gift to yourself. It's not a gift. Right? Think about that. The gift, you wrap it and you present it to somebody. We need your gift. You have to tell your story. I oftentimes talk about one woman that inspires me in this era of my life, who is Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts. Why I love this woman and her story. She started to tell her sad, shameful story. Pregnant, as large as her family spirituality was to the world, and who her father and mother is, a sheltered teenager girl pregnant at 13 years old. All right, what are you doing having sex? That's what we say. That's what we do. But what were you doing at 13? Can we just leave people alone? right? What were you doing masturbating? What were you doing watching that porn? What were you doing fooling around? What were you doing disobeying your parents? Everybody has a story, but the problem is with us, we didn't realize that the story that God gave us was to give us advancement into our purpose. We didn't realize that, okay, maybe if we share the story rather than cover it up, that is going to bring meaning to our lives, and that is going to take the world by storm. It's going to evolve into a woman evolve. It's going to evolve into sold out events. I've been to Women Evolve a couple times, and it's something to witness. If you've never been to one, go support our sisters in Christ. I see women coming from every corners of Philadelphia. I see police holding up traffic all because they're going to check out one woman who told her story. I just stood there and I smiled. I said, God, we don't even understand our power. We don't understand what you're trying to do with us. And we take these stories and these things we go through and we bury them because they're personal. I don't want to share my business. I was challenged with that today. I had anxiety. I know that's what was happening because I started feeling very weird when I did the post on Facebook. And I started to have a weird feeling. I'm like, I know what that devil is. Because, see, I have experience now with how the enemy comes to attack me. All because I've been tested in my storms. Right, guys? So I know what is coming. So I understood how to handle myself and how to pray. And I had one of my someone I didn't even expect to ask me that question when I told them, I'm preparing for something tonight. They said, did you pray though? Did God give you okay to do it? And I said, yeah, in fact, he did. I'm trying to catch up to the fact that he actually wanted me to do it. And then I had another person who called and said, a family member, don't tell the people them. Don't tell people your thing, because then they're gonna say and laugh and say, look at her. And I was like, yeah, I couldn't argue with her, because that kind of mindset is something that God has to work on with individuals who are chosen. Because if he put you to it, if he brings it to you, it's a part of your ministry. Well, what is the gain in hiding it? Who cares what people want to think or say? Those same people are stuck where they are in their minds and need whatever you have to release. So let me finish. I just have about 3 more things here. I'm gonna concise this. So I mentioned that I learned the gift was not for me. I also learned something very strange. I learned how to seek success all my life, right? But I didn't learn how to fail. You see this one right here? When this revelation hit me, I was like, God, that doesn't make sense upon just hearing it. But the wisdom of God, I found a power in this place that I never knew before. I found I found some good things that I'm like, okay, God, that means I'm going to make it out so I can share these good things, right? I'm going to get out and be strong again to share. And then I started to say, listen, God, even if I'm not strong enough, even if I'm not back 100% to capacity, I'm going to do this. I'm going to share this, and I'm going to do this with whatever strength is left, and whatever this age 40 life-changing moment has come to teach me. Everything is going to get done in due time. And I want you to say that to yourself. I'm going to accomplish what I was meant to accomplish in my time. You're not going to have an untimely death. I rebuke that. You're not going to have a moment where you give up. You were not built to break, because God is your foundation. If your foundation is God, you cannot break. I don't care what you go through. I don't care what it feels like. I don't care what it looked like. So I'm going to explain this in a whole different video. This whole part about me knowing how to find success but not knowing how to fail. Why is it important to know how to fail? We don't need to know how to fail. We need to know how to not fail. But I realized that if I learned about the things that would make me fail, the little things that would make me fail, and study those little things and those little habits, then I would be successful. I was inching more towards success when I was writing down the things that makes me fail. Okay, so this procrastination. Okay, so this little thing that I keep putting off, so that thing, that's how I feel. Oh, so when you learn the reverse psychology of the thing, it helps your brain to function even better. That's something I learned in this rock bottom. And I'm moving on to the next one. I started enjoying saying no to people who I love and disappointing them. Because me disappointing people, it was bringing us both victory. I didn't realize this. I thought it was just going to be arguments and they're going to quarrel with me because I say no. But I started to just drop them and drop all the requirements. I mean, we're not even need to talk, we don't need to talk about anything right now. And what happened is they went and learned, and I learned to focus. So two things were happening. I learned how to focus, and they learned how to do things by themselves and for themselves. I was doing them a better value. Lastly, I learned to let go of the word I. And I've used the word I a lot in this video. But I got some help with this one. And I'm going to interview my friend. I'm going to talk to her on this channel who told me about this. She said, you keep saying I. I'm like, well, that's how we speak, right? But what she literally was trying to tell me is something that she learned through her storm. We have to quote each other. This is what I'm saying. You have to tell me your story so I can live out some part of it in my life. And when I get there, I can understand what I need to do. I'm going to share it with you. I learned to let go of the word I and ask God to start playing the role of I in my life. So now I can watch Him show me how to be me. I even wrote a song about it. I said, no more I or me in nothing. Lord, anything you say, I'll do. No more I or me in nothing, only you. I'll release it one day because He gave me a lot of songs in that place. There's so many things you pick up in rock bottom. The negative stuff that you have to filter out, the parts of you that needed healing that wasn't healed, and the positive parts of you that needed upgrading. And now you can emerge being new, not your old self, not coming back, but being new and being better. Wait, didn't Sha'Carri Richardson say something like that? That she's not back, she's better. Girl is #1 in the world, fastest woman. Hey. Talk about people who go to rock bottom places. And sometimes we see their rock bottom, their situation playing out right in front of our screen. And we criticize them. But just wait for your day because it's coming. But you have to emerge out of rock bottom. Now understanding that, okay, God, since you created me, then you have my manual. Then you know how I'm supposed to be operating. So this way in which I was operating that made me so awful during this test and probably displeasing to you, can you fix that? All right, so that I can emerge. So if I have to go through anything again, I'm just better at it. Because honestly, guys, I can't go through that again. I cannot. So whatever I need to do, I'm going to be doing it. And I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay. Because I don't know how much longer I have left. I don't know how and why He preserved me. I don't know why He gave me what He gave me now, but it's for now. And to continue for the rest of my life. So this is the end of this broadcast. Game changer. Game changer. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, if you haven't liked it, and if you know someone who could grow here with this message, the next couple of days, starting tomorrow, you will be seeing little pieces and little clips of what I have been learning. And He's just saying, turn the camera on. Like, it's just a release that I'm now getting to do what I need to do. So, like, comment, say something, subscribe, and let's grow together and let's see what we can build, because it's time for building. Thank you for tuning in. Again, my name is Kish Johnson, and it was so nice to sit down and have this moment. Thank you, God. Now my life can continue in whatever God has for me to do. I'll see you soon, tomorrow. Stay tuned for everything, because it's a brand new, it's a brand new day, brand new person, brand new. I'm here to explore this new girl. Like, I'm here to explore her, and I'm going to fall in love with a part of me that I've never seen before. Have a good night.